Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome yourselves to your coverage on Print Stream GG here. We are on to our alleged Week 7, Round 7, however you want to call it, match for tonight. We are going to be seeing Joey GUNZ going up against MANDEM. But before I get too ahead of myself, let us introduce our lovely producer is J-Max. And my other caster here is going to be Cerny. How are you feeling tonight?
Pretty good. I mean, all things considered, I've been having some tooth pain for the past couple of days, to get personal about it. But beyond that, I'm doing okay. It's just robbed me of some sleep. Like when you just like one of your, I guess it's like my gums are a little infected or something because of one of my wisdom teeth that hasn't been removed. And when you're trying to sleep on your side and it kind of just doesn't work because your jaw's all cramped up. Yeah, it was. I didn't sleep a lot last night. Beyond that, though, maybe this match will not put me to sleep because it is Mandem versus the Yak team, which means there's bound to be some shenanigans afoot. I hope at least, or at least it's going to be over quickly if Yak team throws. Either way, right? Those are, I think, the two reasonable outcomes straight off the bat.
Yeah, if there is Yak in the server, we are always in for some sort of chaos. It doesn't matter which way you look at it. But actually, we already have 12 in the server, Sony, so we might have to do a little bit of a speed run here. So, as I did mention before, we are going to be seeing MANDEM versus Joey GUNZ here. So, it looks like MANDEM going to be rolling out with Boulder, Zoe on Scouts, Haunt, Ryan Soldiers, Fancy on the Demo Man, and June finishing things up on the medic here. So that full team that they will be taking to land in just 3 weeks.
Yeah, they are. They're getting ready for it. They finally figured out which permutation of the Mandem roster, because half of Prem at this point has played on that team at some point, they are going to take to land. And allegedly, it is going to be this composition. I guess we'll see whether that actually stays true until 3 weeks from now, or somebody drops out again and dodges and whatnot. I guess we'll see. On the flip side, you have the Joey GUNZ team, which also is going to land with pretty much almost this exact composition. Not quite. They are subbing in a different medic because Dowie can make it. But beyond Dowie on medic, you have Yak on the demo. You have the soldiers of good old Tirum and Alov, as well as the scouts of Juno and Varnu. So pretty much almost the same roster as it's been for a while now, right? This is Venom Crest, Yak team roster. A couple of people swapping in and out for the season. And they've been doing okay. All things considered, they've been doing just okay, just as they always have been. They have that chaos factor with Varnu. They have that incredible sniper with Juno, right? That scout duo alone can probably move mountains. So we'll have to see, right? Mandem have dropped a map this season so far, which nobody really understands how it happened. We were just asking about this before we went live. We were wondering how did that even happen, considering they've been basically sweeping everything since, or everything else. So maybe we'll see a repeat, because we do have another cough map tonight. After
just the map factor, I guess. And yeah, we can quickly go on to maps here. So it is going to be Gullywash on our first map, and then Bagel on our second. Not quite known for the same level of chaos that we do see of a product here, but yeah, nonetheless, a fast map and something map that we can see some shenanigans on. We can see some funny things, but you're probably not going to be seeing a classic sniper, unfortunately.
Yeah, probably. You never know. It is Varnu we're talking about here. They're capable of quite something. They move. There's this. You never know. You never know with that fella. But also on that Bagel note, because like Gullywash, let's be honest, if Mandem are playing on form, it should be a 5-0. They've been 5-0ing or 5-1 or 5-2ing, maybe in rare cases, pretty much everything they've been going up against this season. And even like the teams that would have put up the biggest fight kind of struggled, right? And I doubt that this team is going to fare much differently. But they have been struggling with King of the Hill. They struggled on Bagel as well. They obviously won, but they did struggle against, I believe it was the Ender Pearl, so maybe it was another team. I forgot at this one already. Even though they won, like KOF seems to be kind of a blind spot maybe for this Mandem team in some ways. So perhaps that's where we can see this X factor come in, right? Obviously they lost product, even if it is a different KOF map. So maybe, right? Maybe there's like a story here that they somehow struggle King of the Hill a little bit.
Yeah, it could be possibly, but I mean, we're far enough into the season already that they're looking in a pretty good position to take that second spot at least here. I mean, I think, as you said, they're definitely the favorites coming into the matchup. They've looked pretty good, only dropping that one map. But yeah, I mean, when we go to KOF, that's when we are likely to see some strange things happen. But I don't know. Looking at Gullywash, I expect it to be pretty standard. I mean, this soldier duo of Ryan and Haunt should be right.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have been looking pretty good for the last couple of seasons they've been playing. I mean, Ryan has been such a standout player for so many seasons. Came in debut of the season a while ago, and yeah, it's just looked ever so good. So I think you kind of have to give it to them, especially on a map that's so reliant on soldiers here. But do you have a little scoreline? Are you rubbing your magic 8 ball? What do you see?
I can see that there is a non-zero chance, there's a reasonable chance that Joey GUNZ might come out swinging, might catch MANDEM off guard and get a round. Maybe not at the start. I feel like MANDEM on all these matches always come out, they're the ones that like just get a 2-minute round instantly. But then like I can see Joey GUNZ clawing in 1 round, maybe 2, before it goes to score for MANDEM, and they just sweep the last rounds they need to get to 5, right? So it could be like a 5-1, maybe a 5-2 in some universe, but I don't really see any other way where MANDEM doesn't win the map and doesn't do it before the map timer runs out.
Hey, the Yak Spike can always come out. You can always drop your medic. But I'm thinking similar. I think, yeah, it may go all the way, or it might go something to 4, but only a couple of rounds, I'm predicting, for, yeah, this side of Joey GUNZ here versus MANDEM. I think they've just been so strong in the previous seasons, and this season seems to be no different. Maybe we see a change on the second map, but doesn't seem like we have too much more time for yapping. Both teams are pressing their F4 buttons, readying themselves up. It is going to be your Week 7 map, starting here on Gullywash. On our blue team, we have the MANDEM. On the red team, we do have the formidable opponent of Joey GUNZ. Why don't you take us away here, Cerny?
Let's see how these teams approach the mid-fights. Fancy, nice little fast rollout here. A little bit quicker than his counterpart, ever so slightly at least, but that doesn't matter that much in Gullywash. You gotta wait for the rest of the team to really back you up and get some positions going, and so far so good. Everybody just kind of rotating around, seeing, peeking, and prodding. No big bombs yet either just across there. As I say that, there's a soldier going high, Hans in deep onto the medic. That's a lot of damage. There goes Doey out of the equation. No heals for Joey GUNZ. They have to switch on. Now Tyrim is already in onto the combo. Nice rockets there. Zoe eventually gets cleaned up, but they haven't really found much else for the frags onto the side of MANDEM. It's only Yak left alive. Make that a respawn for him as well. A wipe for the side of Joey GUNZ. A very decisive first mid fight for MANDEM.
Yeah, MANDEM did such a good job of blobbing around June as soon as they managed to get Joey. There was just no chance. They just backed their way all the way into Big Door. 2 scouts, a soldier. No one was really able to do much. I will say, I think the control just really was not taken by those red soldiers. They kind of just faded round to their own side, then took a rogue rocket from, I assume, hordes, bombing round and doing a bit of damage, and then no red soldiers could really get anything going, and MANDEM just took the opportunity while those soldiers were kind of getting those arrows, trying to get buffed up to just walk themselves over the point and get that soldier bomb in. We do see Zoe dying here, so I was going to say they might not go in, but it's a blue Uber coming in from Shutters here. Good denial from the Pyro here, but cap time comes out a lot. It is denied here by the soldiers and demo man of Joey GUNZ. Do they have enough in to keep going? Looks like they don't. June is already out here.
They find Doey as well. Ryan slips in at the end. I was gonna say this hold is going pretty well. That was really good for the most part. I mean, even Juno just denying a lot of ground early with some headshots, just hitting the shots to delay that push ever so slightly. Zoe obviously dying, probably spelled doom for the push at the end, but getting Doey there is so crucial to allow men to just have another mulligan on this one. It doesn't even matter that they botched this push or it didn't go their way, because they completely dismantled the defense, which has to be rebuilt for Joey GUNZ, which obviously takes time, and they have no Uber to worry about either. Dune is going to have a full ad again to work with, and now they can just try again. Send it once more, see how it's going to go, and it's probably likely going to be a little bit better. They probably learned from their mistakes, perhaps, and we'll have a different approach as the entire team sends it through River this time around. Gets airblasted by the Pyro a little bit. Can't quite fight the Sentry either, but they did get Aleph as the Uber fades. The Tyrim is in to at least try and pressure that medic back. Fancy gets cleaned up as well as Balder. June is still alive, but alone in River, she's not doing much. And she might just get chased out by June, who does have those crits ready, but he's probably going to try to use that to protect the point instead. Make sure nobody slips in. At the very least, they managed to take care of Hans eventually. Ryan is still there, but he's not going to get far, either with his health as escape, and yeah, there you go. So another last push botch. This time around, Doey lives, which is an opportunity for Joey GUNZ, perhaps.
I mean, it's so hard to push out of this map. Unless you get like 4 players and you have 100% Uber, you're just not going to push out here. Realistically, it's so easy to back up. It's so easy to overwhelm. that demo man in shutters if you choose to do so. So they decide just to park the bus for a little bit longer here on this Joey GUNZ side. I will say that Pyro did so much, just denying from that right-hand side, blowing them away on Riverside. And then, yeah, the gun just didn't get dealt with and allowed people to get into good positions to counteract that push from the side of MANDEM. Uber's at even now, so Uber going to be looking for sacks or trades here. The beam close to shutters here. Zoe is also in water, so they want to go for that pressure play onto point and into all the other doors at the same time. Good spam onto the gun. It does go down.
No, he's actually going to go for a little bit of point pressure here. Obviously, immediately chased away by the soldier, but lives for the time being. Pressure being put on all sides. Nobody dying for MANDEM either, though, with these very aggressive peaks and plays. Eventually, Zoe gets cleaned up, but, you know, that's kind of his job there anyway. His counter-sack immediately comes in from both sides here. Actually, Term goes in as a soldier goes in on the side of MANDEM as well, but they don't really find anything. And there's a lot of cleanup happening for these MANDEM players. It's only Fancy and June left alive. And if Joey GUNZ were feeling themselves, they could push out, but I think at this point, going for the round reset is the much safer, more reasonable, smarter choice, because you only have to live for another 35 seconds instead of making it to another, you know, another 5 minutes perhaps if you push and then you botch the push or you have to go back. Naturally, this also means MANDEM probably gonna just take the opportunity and send it into last with this Uber once they're heavy boulder at this point as they reach the front lines. There it goes right away. See how they can do anything with this considering counter Uber comes out as well, and they're just getting juggled around for now.
Yeah, they do just try to go in, but Pyro denies shutters very well. Heavy is up in the post here, so this is a good target to just take all the attention here. He does get a first kill onto Tehran, but as the clock strikes down, they have no overtime. No one close to the point. It is going to be round reset here. So actually a surprisingly close first round. Some struggled pushes from the side of MANDEM that they probably should have won, but yeah, very valiant defense from the Joey GUNZ side, pulling out some shenanigans with that Pyro and doing a very good job of denying things. But they look so dominant on that mid, you have to think this is still in the favor of MANDEM to take this second mid.
If we're seeing a repeat of what they did last mid, then very much so, another opportunity. But Joey GUNZ, very good at holding that last point so far. So if it goes back to that exact same scenario, this might get a bit boring, but it certainly doesn't necessarily spell doom for them just yet as the mid fight unfolds before our very eyes. Early bomb around, at least by the red soldiers here, just trying to see if they can get some ground, waiting for their arrows, waiting to see what they can do as Hans goes in once more, directly on top of the medic. What a beautiful bomb! Oh my lord! Doey is surgically removed from the rest of his team. Now they just gotta keep June safe, and they're doing an okay job at it. Look at that, she did take some damage, but lives crucially. It's only Varnu left alive, and he's not very healthy either, so one stray projectile will kill him. Them, much rather, and there you go. That's another lost mid-fight. Not as decisively this time for MANDEM. They lost a couple more players, but it's still a wipe anyway, and they're just gonna get on that last straight away again.
Yeah, that Joey GUNZ game plan definitely, you know, kind of went the way they wanted to a little bit more, sending both those soldiers in over onto the left-hand side into their big door and then tried to make some chaos from there. Even had their demo man drop down at one point and just were trying to take kind of that side of the map and play it a little more differently than just walking over the point. However, yeah, lovely bomb in from Ryan. Just absolutely destroys. Uber does come in from shutters here again for the side of MANDEM. Gun goes down a little late here, but no other picks do go the way of MANDEM. Do finally get Tiram here, but the Heavy's out, Pyro's out, is going to do a good job of denying things here, but the fight is looking now good as the bomb comes in from Ryan here, and you have to think it's only a matter of time until these last few players are cleared up. Doey just going to sacrifice his life here, and it is going to be that first round going towards the MANDEM.
That's such a bummer as well. Doey had 95% Uber, so if just somebody on his team had stayed alive for a few seconds longer, they would have had an Uber to try and protect with. But well played by MANDEM, pacing themselves. They couldn't quite get the grounds and positions they wanted straight away, but they had the patience to just collect themselves, get everybody healed up, come back in at the right time, get that first round on the board now. Not as fast as they usually do. It did take them almost 8 minutes to do so, and obviously straight back to the next round. So we'll see how this goes differently. Fancy being denied early a little bit by Alof. A nice little early bit of aggression, but unfortunately, no, he does actually die. I was gonna say, unfortunately, don't find much, but Tyram will clean that kill up. Boulder gets taken down as well as Hans. As long as they can keep Doey safe, who's not feeling any pressure right now. This is looking like a great mid-fight all of a sudden for Joey GUNZ. They switch up the strategy and suddenly get right on top of it.
Yeah, cheeky their side mid there is what we like to see. It was heads up that their standard mid wasn't working. They wanted to play something a little different and just got onto Fancy relatively early. Took him down though. Demo Man in the equation, allows you to kind of go in and be a little more aggressive. I was going to say Uber's about even, but actually it's about a 20% disad for June, but the rest of Joey Guns not really in that position to capitalize on it. And yeah, with Vanu going down, you're definitely not going to do anything now.
I saw that on my screen from Fancy's perspective. That was an absolutely disgusting flick to just delete Varnu from your face, because Varnu was right in Fancy's face. It was quite something. But it's enough to just slow this down, delay this, allow MANDEM to maybe even hold a bit more aggressively than they usually would on a last, right? I mean, this lobby hold for a while at least gives them some time to set up on last, get themselves collected as Junu picks up the rifle. Varnu's on the Force of Nature. Now this is where we're starting to see the strategies evolving. The Force of Nature is not something you see every day. Gonna be using that for the extra jump. We're gonna be probably to push people off the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, of course. Of course.
Like go Pyro when you can just go Force of Nature here, right? So gonna be that pressure cooker play where you try to pressure from other doors, get eyes off of that point, but there's usually a body just watching it, right? There is a soldier so deep onto point, wants to take this aggressive fight onto the scout. Knows he only has 2 bullets to really work with here. Can play a little more aggressively. Doesn't have to play on that ring quite as much. Sniper, though, peeking deep here. Can he find the hero shot? It's just Vanu going down, though, for it.
That's scary. The fact that Junu couldn't quite line the shot up because there were too many targets there. And almost let him get away with it. It's still fine. Crucial frags here and trying to keep this somehow alive, but Dowie unfortunately eventually has to pop, and well, the only target he has is Alov, as Alov is just trying to desperately chase Ryan to make sure that this soldier is taken care of. So they got what they wanted. They got the force out of Joey Guns, but they also used a lot for it, and Yak has decided to go spy immediately. This is we're getting into shenanigans that shouldn't be possible. Somehow he slips in through the shutter, but they did find him. It was almost perfect timing. Okay, there's gonna be a push up by MANDEM now. Surely, there's no way Joey Guns hang on to this for any longer. Maybe they can get an early force. That's the best thing they can really work with. And that might be what happens. Alf, nice little bump onto June. Yeah, beats the second rocket though. They're gonna get another one off. Not in time. June confident in her team, and it is enough to keep that Uber in store. Dowie died as well. Oh my god, I didn't notice that.
Yak is the only player you will ever see who will go spy there. And he will do it consistently. And it will fail 9 out of 10 times, or the one time it does not. It's beautiful here.
It's legendary if it happens. Imagine.
Vanu is up on the sniper here, so he probably should call that out. We've got to worry a little bit about this, but it's 100% Uber advantage here for the side of MANDEM. Such an awkward position for Vanu up on this high ground here. He's so vulnerable. He's never going to realistically escape from this position. So this is essentially their sack here from Joey Guns.
The Uber comes in right away. They're just ready for that one, making sure nobody's going to die to that stray sniper bullet. Maybe if they're not flashed now. And crucially, Uber didn't really accomplish much. Yeah, they got Yak.
got June. He was unspotted up top.
Vanu was just hiding, so June just dies anyway. Traded out for Zoe as well at the end of the day. A couple of players left here. Make it one with just Ryan. They do get Dowie though in that time. Balder just walks in on him. Gets Dowie anyway. So what could have been a great situation for Joey Guns is now turned into, at least they like held. They might have an opportunity to get onto mid here, but what could have been a great push is now awkward at best. And Tira might just get caught here as well. He will, matter of fact, get caught for being a bit overextended, but I'd appreciate the efforts there, and crucially killing June just means they at least slowed that down, right? Even if they lost Dowie in the end, managed to keep themselves safe on second now. Varnu back on the spy. We'll see if there's something that can happen here. A little stab, perfect timing to decloak. I mean, it's about time. Make sure nobody turns around. Nobody heard it. Scout spotted you though. Unfortunate.
Just keep the op classes rolling at this point. You might as well. It is the chaos that they thrive in, and actually it's Tiram thriving as he gets a nice 2 picks here onto this MANDEM side. Rest of his team pressuring into second. We'll find a third up onto Zoe here. It's only Haunt to clean up, and the only 2 up. Boulder and June hightailing it out through Big Door. This should be Joey Guns' mid, and they probably want to take this a little bit further if they can.
Yeah, ideally they obviously do. It's just a matter of whether they can pull it off, and with the respawners coming in, Haunt's probably not going to get the forwards, but at the very least, so they're down a player, but they have to move insanely fast here and somehow catch MANDEM with their pants down, which is going to be hard. Fancy's already sticking up Big Door. They're pressuring him a lot, matter of fact, doing a lot of damage as well to get him out of that position. Varnu in lobby as well means an opportunity at least, unfortunately. There is splash damage on rockets that will take care of the scouts, so there's nothing you can do now. And now this allows MANDEM to counter-sack a little bit here, be a bit more aggressive themselves. They know the positioning isn't going to be too far forward for Joey Guns. They can afford to send somebody in, slip somebody through, and they got to be worried about that. Dowie is going Gonna be feeling some danger soon. Varnu back on the sniper again. Probably has played more off-casters now than scout so far this match, and I think that's what you like to see. That's the Varnu play right there.
Yeah, I think you actually might be right here. I think you might have a little more playtime, but it is a slow peek in through big door here. Might find the head of Fancy. Absolutely does. Nice opening shot. There'll be no stickies through this door. It's a soldier instantly in it to lobby here, and it's a counter-stack attempt, just trying to slow them down as much as they can here.
2 body shots onto June. Couldn't quite get the headshot, but 2 body shots is enough to make her force that Uber. Make sure
in behind.
Doesn't drop, but yeah. This is interesting. I mean, they do get both for the soldiers, and Dowie, okay, manages to hold his own against Zoe, but there's going to be a lot of pressure falling this medic very soon. Yak dies as well, unfortunately, and they're going to have to really expect Juno to hold the ground here, stem the tide of these Mandem players chasing down your medic. Unfortunately, that is him taken care of. Nobody for Dowie to pop on at all. He's in no man's land, left completely alone, nowhere to go. This is a disaster. He eventually finds a soldier. Alov manages to just about meet up with his medic here, but that could have been a whole lot worse. Jesus, man. They somehow stay in this.
Yeah, an aggressive refight from Ryan as well might open another door here for Joey Gunn from a fight that surely lost. Is looking very winnable here as they take down the pocket scout of Boulder as well on the side of Mandem here, and it looks like they want to keep pressuring on through, getting 2 soldiers up into this lobby area. Need to be careful of the stickies of this demo man, but they're already in onto last Hiram, loses his life early, and there is a chase onto Alov through river, and now the tides are turning so quickly I can't quite keep up with it as Mandem already making their way into lobby, want to regress into second here.
That's very ambitious. They were really hoping to maybe get that June force out considering the Uber disset they're at, and now, well, because of that Uber disset, they have to give up second as well. Maybe, as a matter of fact, Hans is already pressuring mid a little bit, so Mandem back in control for now. Ubers have equalized. Varnu will be spawning soon as well, and there's just going to be an exchange in choke, actually. They've opted to go for that. Slightly better Uber here for the side of Mandem, at least health-wise, because Dowie ate a lot of damage before popping, but Hans does die in the very tail end of that, and that opens things up ever so slightly in this post-fight. That might just be the opening that Joey GUNZ needs to really make something happen here, as they immediately rotate almost their entire team to big door and just try to bust right through here. Tyram with a big bomb directly all the way across. Doesn't really find much, a little bit of damage chipped onto June, but it is something to be a distraction for. Alov does die, but Fancy does get cleaned up, and that is a huge pick to get.
Yeah, but Yak in such a bad position, caught up top there, and it is also Tyram going to be going down in that choke area, so their Soul Defender is going to go down, and now the chase should be out from this Mandem side. It is going to be Boulder charioted in. A nice bomb from Ryan gets on to Dowie here, and now it's all men scrambling in to try to find June. Doesn't look like they'll be able to. Junu finally caught up there, and that will be pretty much all she wrote for that. The rest of the team just... yeah, coming in now, and yeah, June is in such a good position so often here.
Varnu's having a great match as well, hitting a lot of meat shots, just winning 1v1s left, right, and center, getting out of that alive despite being so far behind. Pretty huge play as well. Now it's just going to be a matter of how can Joey GUNZ deal with this Uber. High bomb by Tyram, big deep bomb into choke. You love to see that. That's the exact force you need to see here to give yourself a fighting chance. Now just keep Dowie alive. Make sure that he does not have to have any more pressure on him than he needs to. And you've got a nice little Uber ad to take forward. Alov pulling people back with the back cap on mid as well. Arnu going up the drop down, making sure to meet up with the rest of the team. And this is a clean opportunity. Two players still down for the side of Mandem. So this is surely a 1 mid. They can easily get this point back. Probably hold off the Mandem aggression and then keep it rolling forward with that Uber as well. If they don't die to the Zoe sniper who misses the first shot on the demo, but he's still there. He's still gonna be a bit okay. They managed to pressure him back for now. He's a dangerous little thing to worry about. Okay, that could have been dicey, but it ends up being fine. And now Mandem have to go to their last.
The fact that those back cappers lived on mid is so clutch. If you don't manage to stay alive there, you just lose that instantly. Uber comes through. It's about a 5% ad, but June will get into spawn now. So Uber does come out for the blue team of Mandem as well, going straight onto that point, and they are just absolutely cleaning up shop. They have gone so unbelievably aggressive here on the side of Joey GUNZ, and they are getting cleaned up one by one. Tyram trying to be a little sneaky, however, does not manage to find any kills here, and it will be the cleanup. But we do have one hider hiding in lobby here. So it's a cheeky little scout, but it's a heavy on point.
Yeah, heavy on point makes this a lot more difficult than it needs to be. Unfortunately, Varna's not going to have an easy chance with that one. The heavy's too healthy as well, basically full health because he got a buff. So you're not going to have an easy time with that one. You're going to have to, unfortunately, just concede, I suppose. Although chase the heavy into spawn does do something. I guess delay him a little bit, but you're going to have to somehow hold off this tide, because at the end of the day, you now have an Uber disad to work with here. June, well, it's gonna have quite the sizable chunk of Uber on Doey, and I don't know how they're gonna keep holding this. They're down 2 players, they're just now spawning. I mean, I guess they're missing Fancy, but they might not even need him for this push if there's no players to really pressure back. I mean, Joey GUNZ tentatively holding top a little bit, and if MANDEM takes any longer, they're actually gonna get an Uber in time. Hansis get taken down, but that's probably all she wrote. As long as Doey keeps healing here, might have an opportunity to actually hold this, but if they lose any more players, it might just turn poorly for them. Oh, Ryan does go down. All right,
actually, in
they
behind.
can hold this. All right, no, nice bomb. Okay, they got this. They got this.
Yeah, really nice hold. Actually, they really do want to use the Uber on that MANDEM side and then just instantly lose 2 soldiers for it. Allows Taram to come in from behind as well during this because they took so long to reposition, but it will be Banu going down here. It's looking a little more tricksy here. They are still pumping out damage on this MANDEM side. It's still Boulder alive, but he is dealt with. Can they find this pick onto Fancy and Haunts? They absolutely can. Nice rocket by Alof. Jeez.
Okay. I was, there was like sometimes when I saw these Joey GUNZ matches where I was like, okay, has Alof like adapted to the team well enough? Because like obviously he's very skilled, but he's like the newest addition to the team standing in, right? And you got big shoes to fill standing in for KN. But I think he's adapted very well. He's starting to feel it. He's starting to really pull his weight, and now there's an opportunity for Joey GUNZ to really make something happen here. Take us into last. The Uber is out of play. They find Ryan at the very least, as well as the sentry gun. Second hasn't been capped yet though, so they can't pressure the point. And now the respawners, so much rather just spawn hiders are coming out of hiding. And they're starting to really put on the pressure here with the Uber in play as well. Even with a lot of cap time down, that point is going to squarely remain in MANDEM's hands for a little while longer. The heavy locking it down as well, so not opportunity lost here for Joey GUNZ. Perhaps, they took a little bit more initiative this time. They were a little bit earlier. They had no Uber to worry about for a while, but they just didn't have the second cap. They were perhaps too eager that time around.
Yeah, Junior was just so keen to try to cap up that point, was removing stickies basically throughout the entire Uber, but they just got to play and spawn from the side of MANDEM.
Yeah, I thought Tyron was gonna get away with going behind, but no, he's been killed. This is interesting now, because Ubers are basically equal. You're down a player with Tyron down. Alf being very aggressive and choke, just trying to make sure nobody gets from F. He just waltzes on forward, just holds W, and somehow all of MANDEM are just pressured all the way back up top. There's a big bomb coming in, but nothing to land on really. Just means Hans might even just die here. Narrowly lives, but Bowler gets taken down instead, and June is being spread thin here. Most of her team are actually get very low or dying. There goes Zoe that gets taken care of. Tyram is on the chase as well. Beautiful rocket. Make it 2 onto the soldier as well. Everybody escapes, but they eat a lot. Fancy lives on 1 health for the time being, and that's a lot of cap time being put down by Tyram already. They have to use to block, which is huge for Joey GUNZ.
Why is Joey going in here to try to save his scout here? I guess they want to keep on the fight. Feel like they have enough pressure, enough time to do something here, but they're not really cleaning up as many kills as they would like. The heavy comes through with that full buff, and what was looking so good for Joey GUNZ, they went on an aggressive 20% Uber advantage spree, and it worked so well, and tried to carry it on into last, keep that pressure going, but it was just a little too much. I have to feel that Joey was already so disconnected from the rest of his team that it's just a mistake to go in there and to use that Uber. You know the rest of the team is still relatively healthy and can still fight on the MANDEM side, and you're just losing health as time goes on. But that, talking about losing health, I was going to say, June might lose all of hers. Alof got a really nice opportunity to kind of whiff that second rocket a bit. But it's Yak in, has to hit the pipe to try to secure things out. The whole team is just going for June.
I mean, they're doing a lot of damage. Everybody's trying to clean that kill up, but nobody quite managing. And that second still hasn't been capped. Doey's though trying to do DPS on the players up top. Eventually, MANDEM stacks it, realizes that that second has to be capped off, because the back cap attempt happened throughout all that as well. Tyram did go in behind throughout all of that chaos, trying to back cap somehow on last. But Fancy does get taken care of in the meantime now, with this new bit of aggression. And again, Joey GUNZ, they are on top of this. They are on top of just locking down a lot of these attempts that MANDEM has. They are very much so doing a decent job at keeping them at bay. Now they just gotta, well, see if they can take the initiative. And you know what? They get the force out. They get the force out just like that. Tiram goes in. Alaf was there to back him up a little bit as well. And this is enough to get the force out. Much better Uber, obviously, for them as they try to chase this out. They only really find Boulder with it and don't really follow up beyond that, unfortunately. At the very least, they managed to really secure second, get Ryan taken care of as well, who was struggling. And unless this mid back cap by Zoe is enough to out cap it, which doesn't happen because he gets blocked. And also directed by a nice little rocket. Okay, Alf has been unlocked. Holy crap. He's been hitting everything this match.
He's just been playing MG before this. Once again, Fancy dying. I feel like this game, all the opportunities have been opened by Fancy losing his life early, but June getting on the offensive, takes out the head, but the kills all going towards the way of Joey GUNZ here. You have to think this is their one opportunity. If it's going to go their way, Joey uses his body to secure themselves a 1-1 round here. And that was a long one. We have only 6 minutes remaining, and it's a 1-1. This has been so back and forth.
I'm very surprised by how well Joey GUNZ have been playing. I was expecting this to be just a quick one for MANDEM, but they actually have to fight for it. They're making MANDEM really fight for it on this one, giving them a run for their money. 1-0 with 6 minutes, just under 6 minutes left on the clock. It's anybody's game, and unless MANDEM really step it up now and find their way back into this game, because they've been looking like they've been struggling for the tail end of that round, I have to see if they can repeat the good mids that they had, because it all came off the back of that good Joey GUNZ mid last time. It looks like this time around, that's not really happening. They find Fancy, and they manage to at least salvage the rest of the team that, well, basically sacked themselves for the demo. But it is a one mid fight for MANDEM. There's a lot of pressure being put on already as well, with Boulder far forward with his medic in tow. Hans as well up in river, but does get taken care of. And Joey GUNZ, they're stabilizing at least a little bit on second here, but they still have to worry about that cap coming through. And at this point, they might just have to go for the Uber exchange with the respawners coming in as well. They know they have numbers advantage. Hans is not going to spawn anytime soon. And that point isn't going to get capped either with Zoe being taken care of, so they stabilize, and they might just go out to mid with this.
They've been taking every single one-man opportunity they possibly can. They are trying to take the opportunity to trade the Ubers here, but it's going to be popped a lot later by June here. And Zoe is just being absolutely clattered here. Will be falling along with the rest of the team. Do take June down as a silver lining here. It's not nothing, right? It's not the most horrible position in the world, but you've got 10 seconds till these spawners. You're going to allow MANDEM to cap up your second point. You have to think they are basically on last for this next 4 minutes.
Yeah, they really got to hold on to this. At least, at the very, very least, their medics are going to spawn at the same time, so Ubers are going to be perfectly equal. They're going to have decent time to set up as well. There's no pressure MANDEM can really put on that last point just now. So, they've done it before. They managed to hold it, so Joey GUNZ are capable of holding this last for a while. But they also really have to make sure that they don't just hold, but they actually manage to capitalize off it somehow. At this point, this is basically the round, right? So if they hold for long enough, we're going to a golden cap, because there's no shot they're going to be pushing out and trying to go for anything there, obviously. They're not going to have the time, probably, if it goes on for long enough. So it's either they hold this for 3 minutes, or they just get in, they hold this so well, and just wipe MANDEM. I mean, they got 2 frags already, just like this, right? And then manage to push out off of it, but I don't see them doing that. I think, given what we've seen, they're going to be playing it mighty safe. They have 2 of the greatest European minds of Dowie and Yak on that team. They're probably both saying, let's just hold this, take it to a golden cap. We'll take points off of MANDEM, which only one other team has managed so far this season in the regular season, which is already quite the accomplishment. And then just, even if they lose the golden cap, at least they got that 1 point, right? So I think that's probably what they're going for.
And then they get to play some Bagel. They get to do some more chaos on a COP map as well.
Exactly,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, it's all to play for, but you have to think, these are these high-pressure situations. This is when teams either thrive or crumble here. What are these teams made of? Are they made of steel, or are they made of dough? We will have to find out here, as it is the pressure coming out again once more from this MANDEM side. Don't want to repeat what they did last time, lose 2 players early here. There's a fight going on in River, going to be 1 out, I guess, technically, by the side of Joey GUNZ, by Ryan killing himself, but there's still a lot of pressure coming out from these shutters and balcony, but Sentry GUNZ somehow staying alive.
Yeah, I'm honestly impressed, because they were just letting Ryan stand on that balcony for free for like 15 whole seconds, just spam the Sentry blindly, and somehow Juno putting just an immense effort keeping that Sentry alive as Pyro and getting away with it too. Now you have the Alaf Spy, well, at least for a little bit. I guess he's decided that spy play isn't going to happen. Maybe he was just checking for off classes as well. We're going to have to see how they approach this on the side of MANDEM. They have to bust this hold somehow. They haven't been doing that good of a job so far. They've really been struggling on Gullywash this entire map, really, too. bust these holes. They managed it one time, and have struggled for the rest of it. We'll see if they can maybe do something. Fancy eating a lot of damage and Shutter. Might just... Oh, it does not get cleaned up, but doing a good job at shutting down any form of aggression here so far. Joey GUNZ making sure nobody on MANDEM gets too eager. Matter of fact, Balder gets taken down for being a little bit too eager, and again, that's just gonna stunt any opportunities they really have to try and pressure. Now with a minute and a half left on the clock, it's starting to look a bit dire. I mean, at some point, MANDEM just kind of have to start sending it, right? They don't really have much of an opportunity to wait any longer. They're not going to get any overtime for having cap time, and maybe this Balder sniper play can be what opens it up, but they have to move quickly because it is, well, 80 seconds they have to do it, so they got to make it stick. Well, yeah, technically only 60. The round timer might just end before the map timer, which would be funny. It'd be so funny if that actually happens here.
Hey, we'll have to see what Balder can pull out of that hat here. Unspotted, looking in through main. Might have a shot here onto Yak if he's not careful, but maybe waiting for some pressure from other doors. Okay, so he's not being looked into. It's 2 picks from Yak, though. Alov will be traded down. The sniper is now spotted, so that's one less factor to worry about here, potentially, for the side of Joey GUNZ. Still, though, looking onto Yak here. He's in treacherous waters. 30 seconds remaining in this game. You have to think the players come up, the Ubers come out. What can MANDEM pull out, or is it going to be a hard-fought draw on regulation time here for Joey GUNZ?
You just gotta send it at this point. Just Uber in, see what you can do. They have a little bit of cap time. It was a nice opportunity. They find a sentry right away. How they use it, of course. It's going to be on this post-Uber fight. They have to get positioning. They have to make sure that that cap time stays on the point, because they're going to buy themselves about 16 seconds of overtime, which is all they have to close out this round. Zoe gets onto the point, but there's only 3 players left for this. Make it 2. Actually, made it 0 for the side of MANDEM. Joey GUNZ have held this. They have taken it to a golden cap. So they are the 2nd team so far this season to actually manage to take some points off of MANDEM. And they could very well still take the map if they manage to win the golden cap as well. Wow, they're putting up a lot more of a fight than I really expected. This Joey GUNZ team is looking mighty fine. I was not putting enough respect on their names. I'm very sorry for that.
Yeah, I was literally about to apologize as well. I was about to say I did not know your game was like this, Joey GUNZ. Kind of maybe playing a little out of their league, to be honest. We saw them recently play against the back team and really did not look this confident in kind of playing off these singular picks. But maybe, you know, they've been in the locker room, they've been having a chat, and yeah, they're just really playing off these small opportunities and playing it really well. Sending a lot of back caps in. Tiram is winning a lot of fights. Alov hitting some crazy rockets as well during all of this. So yeah, they played it super well and been catching Fancy out. I don't know the last time I saw this man in the bottom of the scoreboard, but I'm seeing it today.
Maybe because we were talking about this, he wasn't playing their warm-up scrims. Maybe that ended up being an issue after all. Because he wasn't playing the warm-up scripts for MANDEM at all. We're like, oh, you know, it's Fancy. He's probably confident, whatever. Maybe he should have played the warm-up game. Maybe it would have been given him a little bit of an edge. But you were saying, you know, like the soldiers, obviously, Ryan Hans, they were doing work for MANDEM, at least trying to. But on the flip side as well, even though on paper, Ryan and Hans should be the better soldier duo, Tiram and Alov have just been on top of their game so far this match. They've been, almost every bomb they've tried has worked somehow, which is crazy when you consider that the scouts you're going up against are Balder and Zoe. Like, that should not be happening. And somehow they're getting away with so many opportunities that just work out for them so well. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, they have been playing really well. But you got to say, I mean, you were talking about during the game, Vanu just kind of hitting every shot, but so kind of was Junu at a lot of points, playing that pocket scout job really well when it was needed. Doey dying in some awkward situations sometimes, but the rest of the team also coming up and clearing out the players when they could pretty tremendously well. I think like 3 out of 5 times of like Hail Mary sacks they're making work. They're getting 1 or 2 picks. At least slow down the game, right? And just keep them in for a little bit longer. There's a time where they manage to get like Fancy, and then they get a soldier late, and then a scout feeds in, and you're like, okay, well, they're completely wiped. MANDEM gets second, but it allows them to go on to that last point, and they got a really good hold to, keep themselves at that 1-1 scoreline there. And super back and forth, though. MANDEM were pushing out of last pretty much on a 2-player advantage, which you don't normally see, but it was working out for them the majority of the time. But we're losing maybe a couple of players going on to mids or in those transitions onto last, and Joey GUNZ just playing for them.
Yeah, they were just on top of that, and That's quite something. Now, if you're wondering about the delay, obviously gamers love taking breaks for the golden caps, but apparently Turum is restarting his PC. So I guess even though he was playing pretty well, I guess he was having some lag or something like that, and decided, screw it, I'm gonna reboot my PC real quick. But yeah, that's the cause of the current delay. Maybe this break is what helps either team here really, edge out that little bit of like just recenter yourself and come in swinging for the golden cap and just have an easy time, because that's what you would expect out of MANDEM, right? And they started off strong. The first round, the first mid fight they wiped, and they do it again after the round reset. Like they do pretty okay at the start, and then something just happens. Something happens with Joey GUNZ. They figure out how MANDEM play. They figure out how to punish it. They just thrive in that chaos, and I guess just the one problem that most other teams have against MANDEM is they don't really try to like make MANDEM uncomfortable, right? I feel like MANDEM is like this team that's super strong because they have insane fundamentals and they're just like, everybody is such a solid player. But as soon as you put them in a bit of an unorthodox, unusual situation, the cracks start showing, and I feel like that's the advantage that Joey GUNZ has taken a lot right now.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying at the start that a team that thrives on chaos thrives on those small moments, those things that work. They were pulling out the snipers, the spies. I mean, there was such a hero shot that came out from Vanu too, who was just hiding up top on second and managed to take down June and just basically rallied the rest of the team to come in and try to get into that fight. And it was just, again, one of those back and forth moments. But yeah, there were so many small things that would happen. The one overextension would happen and they would play off that, or they would just say, okay, guys, we're just going to send some big soldier bombs in and see what happens. And they just weren't really ready for it on the MANDEM side. So I will say, I think maybe 18 to 20 minutes, I think it's on kind of the MANDEM side. They had way more last push attempts than we did see from Joey GUNZ, but they kind of fumbled them a little bit. They did not know what to do against that Pyro.
Yeah, that Pyro was doing insane stuff. And like that situation on last, by the way, was just, it is incomprehensible to me how Fancy can have free reign, just walk on the balcony for 20 seconds straight with nobody contesting, no soldiers spamming up there, nobody just bombing him or anything, and then still not take down the sentry. He somehow didn't manage to take down the sentry. I don't know how that, like, it's just a slapstick course of events that shouldn't happen at all, and yet it did for some reason. And yeah, anyway, Tyram has managed to rejoin the server. Apparently, he's got a PC from 2007, because it, I think, took forever to boot up.
Yeah, I think that man should maybe buy an SSD, because that was a long time.
Yeah, I think that might be the issue here, honestly. There's still people that are rocking, like, HDDs, system drives in the big 26, which is kind of crazy.
That's a little bit crazy.
And we're getting to the point where that, like, might not, like if you're still rocking that, you might be screwed, because now with hardware prices the way they are,
it's only RAM that's the big issue, right? I think SSDs are still somewhat reasonably priced.
They have flash memory on them as well, to be fair. They usually have a NAND package, so, well, I'm just saying, if you're still rocking the HDD, it might be a good time to consider an upgrade before it gets even worse. Anyway, gamers have readied up. They're going to be going soon. After all you've seen, Steven, tell me, how do you think solo cap's going to go? Who's going to come out swinging? Are these teams, they've reset themselves, they've completely, like, talked over strategies, they know exactly how to approach this now, or are we going to see another grueling 15 minutes?
Man, I'm such an underdog believer, and I feel like I'm the biggest slater of MANDEM. I always seem to find some sort of way to shit talk them, so I'm going to give it to Joey GUNZ. I think Yak just says, send it up right side. They send it up right side, they take down Fancy, they chase it all the way to last. They take a great Uber trade through River and somehow just clinch it out. So yeah, my prediction is going to go the way of Joey GUNZ in, a good 5 minutes fashion.
Okay. We'll see if that right side mid gets unleashed once more. Switching it up on MANDEM certainly worked the first time. We'll see if they can keep that up, get lucky again, or perhaps it's all skill. It wasn't even luck after all. As the teams have readied, it is the golden cap of Week 7 match between MANDEM and Joey GUNZ. 1-1 on Gullywash. This decides who gets the map. Both of these teams not quite managing to round it out, or rather either of these teams managing to round it out in regulation time. So they have to go for the one round that matters the most. And looks like there's a bit of right side aggression. out of Joey GUNZ earlier, but Fancy's ready. He had a fast rollout. He's managing to hold his ground for a little bit, and they find an early kill onto Alov, and a bit of damage onto Dowie as well. Yak might just get caught as well if he's not careful. Does live. Find Ryan as a response, but 3 players down for Joey GUNZ. Make it 4 with Varnu going down as well. Trade it out for 2 on the side of MANDEM. Means it is a 1 mid fight for MANDEM. Not as decisively as they would have wanted. And crucially, Dowie lives. Manages to get out with Yak as well, so we might just be looking at another last hold.
Yeah, no meds traded through this, so we should be seeing, again, a last hold here from Joey GUNZ. They've looked pretty good so far, but actually placing themselves up into Ripper here, no sentry gun being built, so looks like they actually want to try to fight it at least a little bit here, but yeah, MANDEM's side here, just too strong, not faltering on holding those positions, and now might actually be a really good opportunity for MANDEM just to send a sack in.
Yeah, there's not much of a defense set up yet. You don't have to worry about the sentry. Just send in a soldier and see what sticks, right? Just gets away with something. But Joey GUNZ, aware of the threat, also shutting down a lot of doors very aggressively. Just trying to make sure nothing quite happens. And now with Juno up on the pyro and sentry slowly getting built, it's just slipping away from them ever so slightly. Every moment that they wait is a moment that they're losing opportunities to try and get onto Dowie or get something going. And well, they find the sentry, but that's about it, really. They still have to actually do something with it. Varn just switches off to heavy. Zoe's going to try to get onto the point, but he's going to be met with a soldier instead who's just, you know, going to while around a bit. Maybe a bit of cap time being put down, but that's all you can really get with both soldiers in bomb behind as well. Now, Hans and Orion both get taken care of. Zoe gets cleaned up as well. And we're probably going to see a counter-sack here immediately out of Joey GUNZ. Term is already going up river. Matter of fact, both soldiers are. Fancy's aware, though. Trying to shut them down as best he can. And, this bomb is going to be something that they're going to have to work for.
Yeah, if they do send one soldier in, just trying to make a bit of a distraction. Good rockets here, but not able to get anything out of finding some nice directs. Rest of Joey GUNZ are trying to follow up, get something going, but spawners are coming up now for the side of MANDEM. They need to make sure they don't lose anyone else, but it's going to be Varnu going down. Ryan finds a crucial pick, so now 2 down for the side of Joey GUNZ. Found themselves back on last, no gun, no heavy. This is going to have to be a strong defense. Alov is coming back up, but they've already got one into water from the side of MANDEM here, and they need to be very, very cautious of that.
Zoe loves playing that water spot. It's his prime position on this Gullywash. Look at all the cap time he's already getting just off the back of that. And Pyro's immediately forced onto the point. Heavy eventually comes up as well, but Yak has eaten a lot of damage, so it's going to be out of position for a while. That's Hans now taken care of as well, much rather early taken care of, but they find Varnu and Alov. It's basically only the Heavy and Yak trying to protect this point. They're doing a mighty fine job at it. Ryan gets taken care of, but Junu's very low. Yak is not necessarily in the greatest position to do much himself, and that Heavy is really going to take a while to get healed back up, so even if they're going to hold for now, the defenses are scattered. They're scrambled. They're all over the place. Varnu's going to try to come up on energy, maybe build a sentry quickly, but if MANDEM are going to work against that, they're not going to let that happen very quickly, and that's going to be another... They're going to have to stay on their toes. The sentry gets taken care of immediately. Term is really trying to lock down his balcony now. Make sure Fancy does not get free reigns of that for once, and it might just be working. At least
yeah, I mean, Fancy just did so much during that last point. He was completely uncontested through the whole last point. I was honestly shocked that they didn't manage to get it, just based off of how much Fancy managed to do. Juno kills himself for a reflect of a pipe here. Sentry gun's going to go down, and now this is another opportunity for the side of MANDEM. They have a lot of pressure in through river, in through balcony. Look how many rockets, how much spam is coming through, but Joey, he doesn't want to use, man. Yeah, so much cat time comes through. Gonna lose Yak instantly. Ryan finds that opportunity, and you may lose Boulder, but the rest of the team coming in through shutters here, and I think this might be all she wrote. Gonna take down Heavy, but what else do you really have if you are the side of Joey GUNZ? It seemed unfortunately not enough in this case.
Just lost the fight. Basically, as soon as they got forced onto the point and just didn't, like, they did a little bit of cap time, didn't realize quickly enough, Dowie had to force for the point, and then Yak dies before he can even connect. At that point, the last ult was basically already lost. So it was only a matter of time at that point. GG's to the MANDEM. They managed to actually round it out eventually. And it's going to be the golden cap that they win it. But crucially, this does give Joey GUNZ a point, which, if it somehow comes to tiebreakers, because at this point, we're talking about playoffs implications, right? MANDEM obviously are getting the first seed. I doubt anybody is going to cast aspersions on that. But the remaining 3 playoff spots are hotly contended. And there's probably at least 5 teams that can go into those 3 slots. So if you're coming out on top by taking some points off of the first seed easily, might I add, that might just give you a little bit of an edge if you're talking about seeding towards the playoffs part of the season, which should start fairly soon. So I guess we'll see how that affects it, what the implications of this are and all that. But we still have another map to play as well, and that one can't tie. It's going to be Bagel. It's going to be 3 points to one team or the other. And we also have logs to look at. Look at that. Look at the numbers. Boulder kind of had a huge game. I honestly, I barely noticed, but apparently he killed a lot.
He just kind of does that though, right? He is
Yeah.
that pocket scout that just stays with his medic, doesn't let June die, therefore doesn't die himself, and would just kind of win you rounds, was finding picks. But 15 deaths for Boulder, I know it sounds a bit crazy, but it's quite a lot for him. I feel like I remember this guy like never dropping more than 10 deaths. You're like seeing same deaths as medic or less during this game. Talking about deaths, June drastically less than Doey. Honestly, quite surprised it's that much of a differential for kind of how close we found that game. So maybe a little bit indicative that they were struggling a little bit on that side of Mandem with those pushes that they probably should have won, because that's a lot of ads to play with that they didn't really convert.
Yeah, or like a lot of opportunities where like June manages to escape, the rest of the team dies though, and you're kind of screwed at that point. Also, obviously, as expected, really, Fancy still doing a boatload of damage in spite of the fact that it wasn't really cleaning it up as much as you normally would. Just as you do, out diffing Yakir. Not necessarily a surprise, really. At the end of the day, this does look like a pretty clear cut. Like, okay, yeah, MANDEM obviously won because they had better stats, but it wasn't looking like that for the longest time. Even if they had map control for a long time and came out swinging, they didn't really string it together well enough. Even if they had pushes that, by all accounts, should have totally gone their way, they kind of just threw it away towards the end, or a hero play comes out of one of the soldiers on the side of Joey GUNZ or something like that, and suddenly things were looking very different, right? So they're really stringing together some miracles here, Joey GUNZ, and if they can make the chaotic world of Bagel their home once more, then they might just be looking at another close map potentially.
Yeah, we had to see how things go here, but I feel like Bagel's turned a lot more into a scout trade bonanza here. I feel like if you do have that really strong combo, that really good communication, and your meta just isn't dying, you can just constantly play off those uber advantages because they're just so strong to take over the point. You can have soldiers bombing in deep to get in on the post fight if the medic does manage to kind of get away a little bit. But we still got some stats off, and actually it was only 5 more Mediguns uses. So I guess there was one death that didn't seem to matter too much, but yeah, reasonable differential here. And yeah, no Q dads lost, nothing too crazy. No drops. Congratulations, Doey. No drops. Did drop your players many times.
Yeah, but not himself. Whereas there may have been a couple of opportunities where he used on nobody just to keep himself alive and then die as the Uber faded. But at least he didn't drop.
Hey, it looks good in the logs, though, so it's
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly. Looks good in the logs, and that's all that matters. But yeah, we are headed into the Bagel. The big one. Or Bagel, as some people say. I don't know why, but some people pronounce it as Bagel.
Is that because they're Americans, though?
I think it's Canadians do that.
Canadians?
There's like some weird Canadianisms when it comes to pronunciation sometimes. I don't know. And there's some odd things going on up there sometimes. Maybe it's the French influence, I don't know.
I mean, they have milk in bags, like...
Yeah, they do sell milk in bags.
That's some strange behavior there. And they just have a lot of snow.
They also have like one of the only places on Earth where there's no rats.
What?
Do you know that? Like, I think it's
no. Give me your fun fact.
I think it's the province, right? Alberta is the province. There's just no rats in Alberta at all. They just don't exist there. I think it's like some program. This is a little trivia. Some program that the politicians there introduced because, well, rats were introduced to America by settlers traveling there on, like, they came there on the boats. So they obviously like kind of spread from the coast inward, mainly from the east towards the west, but then also started on the western coast because eventually people settled there. So every place around Alberta has rats, but in Alberta, the provincial government, I guess, introduced some sort of measure to just stop rats at the border, just like have the entire thing patrolled with rat traps or something. Man. So like the province is basically rat free. I don't know how they did it, but that's a little big piece of trivia for you there. Anyway, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, Bagel, right. MANDEM versus Joey GUNZ. So the maps take a while to change and the players take a while to ready up. So there's a little trivia.
Everyone likes a little fun fact here. Fun fact about Bagel, it's because the point looks like a bagel. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Yeah, it sticks out. It has like a. Honestly, I'm impressed with the ability to hold themselves back and not call it nipple, because it's kind of like, it's just like the last map we played, where the middle point is like on a little elevator platform. Gullywash into Bagel, dude. It's like, there's the connection. Just like that. Beautiful, ain't it?
We go one nipple to another here. But yeah, Bagel, very different map here. You traditionally think of your cough maps as can be quite chaotic, but I think when you think of cough map, you think of products, you think of soldiers bombing behind, you think of a lot of pressure onto the point, having to get aggressive, taking those aggressive trades, getting your demo man over, trying to do a load of damage. But this map, I feel it's a lot of playing those houses and your pocket scouts being able to take ungodly good trades and just hit every single shot.
Yeah, the point caps so quickly as well. There's basically almost always constant point pressure from both sides as teams just kind of stand on it and stand behind it where you can't really see them, right? You can kind of just blindly stand right in front of the enemy team behind the little platform and just cap the point out from underneath their noses. So the point might just flip hands very, very frequently here, unless, you know, one team kind of just has an insane forward hold and starts dominatingly holding the map in their hands. So we might see a lot of that as well. And it's a very fast-paced map, I think. If the conditions allow and one team isn't just completely outmatched by the other, usually this is a very fast-paced map. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of, as you say, the Uber trades across, but then also soldiers just trying to slip through on the flanks. You basically have two flanks to watch with both the houses, right? Which, well, spreads you thin a little bit. And sometimes all it takes is one soldier maybe winning a battle in that house and just waddling behind, and suddenly you have to really worry about that bomb, because they have free reign for your combo. On the lowest ground that you could possibly be on the map, your combo is just standing there, and there's a soldier waiting to bomb them. So there's a lot of weird opportunities you can really try to glean if you're trying to make something happen. And again, I mentioned it quite a bit, but Joey GUNZ is the type of team to really make that happen sometimes. So this could be something that suits them quite well. I haven't seen them play this map this season so far, I think, but it should be quite a spectacle, perhaps.
Yeah, we saw them going on those single picks in the previous game, and I think this will be pretty much no different. This, yeah, as you said, this map is usually pretty action-packed. You can pretty much always get some sort of a push going, even if you're not really going in to try to contest the point or try to get the cap time back. You're sacking for the enemy medic, right? Or you're trying to get out of a forward hold. So there's always something to go on. And, you know, if they can do what they did in the last map, they were often finding picks on Fancy and then just going in from that. If they can find a pick onto the demo man, that means no stickies to deny that scout over point. Could see Junu causing some absolute havoc here. But we'll have to wait and see a little bit more. We are 12 in the server, so it's just a matter of time here before these teams ready up.
All right, Steven. You have a big brain. You're currently doing like, I don't know, you're doing like a thesis or something, right? Surely. Tell me, how do you reckon this is going to look by the end of the map? Is this going to be another close one that goes like to a 3-2, or is either team, either MANDEM or Joey GUNZ, just going to start running away, raking in the rounds, and all of what we just saw was just a fluke? MANDEM wasn't warmed up, Fancy wasn't warmed up. Now that he's warmed up, it's going to be a different story. What do you reckon?
I have to think that last map was actually a bit of a confidence booster for Joey GUNZ, and I think they played very confident during that map. I feel we have seen them in the past maybe start lacking confidence as the game goes on, but I think they kept playing with that same confidence throughout the whole map. And if they keep it on this map, I think they're definitely going to make it a close one. They did have a pre-game scrim on MANDEM, and while they did win it, they definitely looked like they had a couple of weaknesses on this map. So could be all to play for. I think you still slightly give it towards MANDEM. I think June is such a good medic at just keeping herself alive, along with Boulder. They just can sometimes just not die, and I still think that's the most important thing on this map. So I'll give it to MANDEM, but I would not rule out Joey GUNZ. I think, you know, if not a 3-2, I think a 3-1 at minimum here.
Okay. I think that's very apt. I think that's very reasonable, especially given, you know, how much they struggle to keep Dowie alive at times as well. So the Ubers are gonna play into it a little bit more. the chaos really works out for them and MANDEM can't get on top of it, and they continue to struggle with Bagel as they, well, at least historically so far this season, seemingly have a little bit from time to time, then it could be very close, and it could be a chance where Joey GUNZ takes this, especially if they get some momentum going and, you know, start really feeling the confidence and get on top of the strats. But as you say, if MANDEM just kind of lock in a little bit and play to their fullest potential and all that, then we should be looking at a one map for them, and not much of a controversy about that. I think it's gonna boil down a lot to who's gonna have the better flank control. If you can get Ivarnu and Tiram on their side of the flank can just get away with a little bit more than the other side with Hans and Zoe can, then I think there's a good chance that could actually really enable a lot for them. Because if even just Tiram or maybe also Alaf can just get in behind and do the bombs they've been doing on Gully, we might just be looking at a pretty good time for Joey GUNZ, I think.
Yeah, that Joey GUNZ flank, as you were saying, was finding a lot of opportunities on that last map to just get behind and exploit things. I mean, we did see the MANDEM soldiers coming out on top, and I think Ryan did have an amazing game and was finding a lot of really good picks, but he's going to be on that left side house, I think, a little bit. A lot of the time will be alone, so we'll see if he can hold up against the two flankers, but we are finally getting into our second map here. It's going to be MANDEM on blue. We are going to be seeing Joey GUNZ rolling out on that red-hand side.
Let's see. The classic old just spam across the point. It isn't unlocked yet. You can't cap yet. We'll see what kind of positioning we can get early. Both teams being rather cautious right now. Nobody opting for any sort of early aggressions or bombs. Everybody's going to see what you're doing anyway. Doey's eating a lot of damage already, actually, somehow. He's going to have to back off to heal with the pack, as a bit of cap time is being put down by MANDEM now, but it's still just a bit of a scuffle on the point. Tiram now busting through on the far side of the house here. That's a lot of damage to Zoe, but crucially Zoe lives. Will not be taken care of just yet. Point not getting capped yet either. Both medics now have their Ubers ready as well, so there's opportunities here for an exchange perhaps already, as Zoe just immediately pops across with his scout Juno. Eventually the response comes out of June as well, naturally, as you'd expect. But it is going to be a better Uber for the side of MANDEM as it fades, and, well, even if they don't really find any frags off of it, they might just get the point eventually. Okay, they do get Zoe cleaned up, Doey cleaned up by Zoe, that's what I meant to say, and they don't get the point just yet, huh? They lost a couple too many players on the side of MANDEM, but surely, eventually this point is going to get capped by somebody, right?
Yeah, exactly kind of what I called out in the beginning might happen. They take down Fancy, overextends a little bit over the point, doing insane damage, so I understand why he was there, but do trade instantly. But yeah, Joey GUNZ not able to get that course out. Doey just getting disconnected from Juno allowed the scout of Zoe to get in, but it is the refight here. A lot of cap time here coming out from this Joey GUNZ team, nearly capping it up free here, but it's just so hard. These players can keep flip-flopping back and forth, trying to make something happen here, and there's always going to be spamming from those houses, so not quite able to cap it out yet, but Haunt's going down opens up an opportunity, will be traded for Tiram here, and oh no, it's an uber advantage push coming out from MANDEM, and it's an absolute crush.
I think Joey GUNZ were way too overextended their day. I don't think they knew. I feel like they played this like they had equal Ubers or were just not expecting it at all. June even picks up Doey's Medigun, which means she has 80% straight off the bat again, ready to go. That is truly, truly heinous. Now that's evil, and I don't know how Joey GUNZ are gonna find their way into this. I mean, there's no forward hold to worry about, but they have to. Do they know that there's another Uber coming their way? It gets popped off immediately. I'm sure they know it now, and if they can just keep Doey safe, I guess they don't have to worry about too much. The second Uber was basically just shot into the wind for Juno, and actually June almost goes down. Alaf manages to get a nice little bomb in, but that's all she wrote on that one. Tiram opting for the shotgun soldier, actually, interestingly enough. But ultimately just has to pay with his life as well, and well, I guess we've equalized a little bit. Well, I say that Doey does have a sizable ad now, but they're actually going to have to use this as well, and make sure nobody dies beforehand and stuff like that. And that's kind of been Joey GUNZ's kryptonite so far, that people just kind of die before they do push-ups sometimes.
They are looking to bust through on this left-hand side here, pretty much uncontested. Don't have to use the Uber yet, so that's a good thing for Joey GUNZ here. Still will have a sizable 40% advantage as they push on through. Zoe going down as well in the background is going to be good here. Doey's not going to want to use, going to want to keep hold of this Uber for as long as possible, and actually looks like he might be able to, as they're losing 2 now on MANDEM. Do lose Tiram in the process, gets a little too aggressive, gets a little too greedy here, allows MANDEM to come in for this refight. they are about to get Uber, so probably going to be looking for this trade. But June is so scared. They want to try to get the force by forcing the point here. But actually, they're playing it really well on Joey GUNZ, not letting themselves get into this trap.
Yeah, they're okay. Finally, they decide to pop across. June is going to try to run that in. Obviously, June is going to pop a lot later, have a lot better of an Uber here, but is going to be forced to flash a little bit. But they're going to fade it almost the same time. It's a bit longer, obviously, for MANDEM, and they're going to retake the point off the back of that as well. But still, fight goes on. There's plenty of opportunities for both here. Aleph is the only one dead on the server right now, and positioning-wise, at least, even if it favors MANDEM so far, they aren't all that healthy. June is really going to have to try to keep her team alive here.
Soldier in from behind, though, in onto Joey. No. Can't quite find the rockets, though. Lives for so long, doesn't quite find things.
Eventually.
Brian will come in, the hero that MANDEM needed in that position, and it's an absolute crush from the rest of the team. Going to be pretty much a wipe here. Just spawners coming up for the side of Joey GUNZ. Now, it's about 30 seconds on the clock. It's looking difficult for Joey GUNZ, and Vanu is on the spy.
Love to see it. Running the basic cloak as well, which means those ammo packs are becoming mighty useful. But is this spike play going to work? You don't have a lot of time. You just kind of got to send it. Make sure nobody heard that. Unfortunately, June apparently did. But it doesn't matter, because if you turn the medic around, you can't dodge the rockets that are being shot at your back. So June's going to drop at 99%, which is a massive opportunity for Joey GUNZ here. If they can keep Dowie in the game, if they can just solidify this point hold, get themselves on there. Lots of damage out of Yak. Unfortunately, he dies eventually himself. Matter of fact, everybody just kind of dies on Joey GUNZ. It turns out having the heal advantage didn't matter if they didn't have any positioning on the point, and we're lacking a little bit of damage. So it's going to be a one round anyway for the side of MANDEM.
Yeah, Zoe fancy just really holding down the fort there for long enough for the rest of the team to come in and just collapse onto the side of Joey GUNZ there. Unfortunately, it was looking like they might be able to get themselves back into the game a little bit, play a little slower off that hill advantage if they got a little bit of cap time, but we're denied from the start by those two players. So first round, convincingly going towards MANDEM there. However, definitely some fight in the Joey GUNZ team, finding some good picks here, but the trade's not been quite as strong as they would have hoped for so far. We'll see if they change things up a little bit here, or if they want to basically go for the same game plan.
They tend to be the team that kind of calibrates for a round, right? Having a Gullywash as well, they calibrated for a round, and then suddenly they were on top of it. And they find Fancy as the first frag here. Zoe cleaned up immediately after as well. Nice little bombing by Tyram there to put pressure on the combo. It's a lot of damage onto the med. Aleph unfortunately can't quite get the air shot rocket on June, but eventually cleans up the kill onto the med anyway. That is a huge frag here, unless Ryan can have response onto Dowie, which he doesn't because the scouts are right on top of it. There's only one more scout to worry about, whom I guess Dowie at least cleans up. Now it's just a fancy demo man trying to pressure this medic. But Dowie has that full Uber in store, and they will be using that. Even if the point may flip, timer's still going to be in favor of Joey GUNZ. And Dowie's going to have his boys ready soon for what could be a nice opportunity for this push. And obviously, MANDEM.
Soldier comes in behind from June,
oh my God,
unspotted there. So yeah, no hills up. The rest of Joey GUNZ now coming in for free through that left-hand side door, where they need to be careful of these bombs that are going to come through, but they're doing a good job of playing around them. But Horns gets such a good bomb, gets straight onto Dowie, and a very worthwhile pop. You're going to get 2 picks, and you might even be able to chase down into this left-hand side, get a demo man, get a cheeky scout pick. Any would be quite helpful, but actually what ends up happening is Zoe comes out and finds Yak. Very unfortunate.
Yes, that's quite unfortunate indeed. At least they get the point back. At least they get the timer to stay in their favor for the side of Joey GUNZ. But this is now going to be quite the hold that they have to mount here. Without the demo, denying anything, any sort of doors or whatsoever, you really have to try and find your way here. And now Varnu going down on the flank as well doesn't make it any easier if you're really trying to hold this. The Uber is still in favor for Dowie, mind you, as long as he lives, which is starting to look very unlikely as Boulder just runs him down. Together with Zoe, and yeah, okay, that's basically a wipe out of them as Varnu comes up with a sniper. A class you don't see a lot on Bagel because there aren't many good sight lines. But perhaps there's somebody who was a bit too keen, a bit too overextended, and might just be made a hit shorter shortly.
You could definitely find something on this forward hold, though. I think it might be the only place that you can really find some sort of angle, is you can wide peek here into this big, long lane here. But they're going to use the Uber here, and they completely pants down as Dowie found straight away by a nice sticky pipe coming in from Fancy. Rest of the team backing him up as well here. And June going to be sitting pretty here. Don't lose a single player during that. Really, really clean stuff coming out from MANDEM. And while this is all happening, the clock is ticking down in MANDEM's favor here. 1:30 on the clock. Joey GUNZ not far behind, but yeah, they need to just try to get past this forward hold. It's so hard. They're trying to get out on this left-hand side. Now, Yak doing some decent damage, but it's going to be caught out by Fancy rotating the damage here. Feels like you need to kind of get players in from every angle if you have any opportunity of getting in. They'll get fancy as something, but
I mean, they get 3 players actually. It's evens for evens trades here, and in terms of health, it's certainly looking a lot better for Joey GUNZ for a bit there. So it allows them to get out onto the point, get some ground there. Now, obviously, Balder's just going to send in his Uber though, with his chariot and medic in tow. And well, if all they get is Yak, then all they got is Yak with that one Uber. Now Doey has his own to respond with, and it's not like Fancy was alive for most of that. Matter of fact, he might just die again. There you go. Tirama's on top of that right away, so they don't have to worry about that disadvantage whatsoever. The point is in their favor. Hans gets immediately just plucked off the point again, and it might just be an opportunity for Joey GUNZ to really consolidate their hold here, but they have to worry about all these other aggression that is coming up to Doey. Eventually does have to force, and there's absolutely nobody to chase with this Uber whatsoever. These mana players are out of harm's way immediately, so yeah, not much you're getting with that. I guess you just held for a while, and now you have to worry about the Uber coming out of the side of MANDEM again.
Yeah, already walking up on this right-hand side. Fancy getting very aggressive here. Doesn't really have anyone to back him up here, but there's not really much they can do about that on the Joey GUNZ side. A lot of cap time coming out, 90% Uber on June here, and they might just get it for free. No soldiers coming in aggressively there. Fancy will once again go down, so it allows Yak to get a little more aggressive on this point, but they're so hesitant to commit on the Joey GUNZ side. They know that they are on Uber disadvantage. They know that they can't do too much crazy, and that crazy was going to be Vanu, but is unable to get anything during this. And Yak's so desperately trying to find some damage that his team can play off.
Yeah, really is trying his best here. Alov trying to bomb in as well, seeing if he can do anything, but the scouts are on top of it. There goes Junu taking care of as well. Eventually, Zoe slips in and cleans that kill up, and suddenly things went from looking kind of bad to absolutely horrific for the side of Joey GUNZ. Now with 10 seconds left on the clock, nobody even getting close to that point. Even a little bit of overtime isn't going to do much for them, and it's starting to look like this might just be another round going the way of MANDEM at this rate, with the Uber coming out as well to just ensure nobody gets through this lobby. That is indeed a 2-0 now for MANDEM, and they're already on match point, with Joey GUNZ not really finding their footing right now.
Yeah, kind of running away with a little bit are MANDEM here. I feel like they're just finding those picks onto the medic of Doey more than they really should be. I feel like Junu should just be in a position a little bit more to be able to help him, but we got something else to talk about here.
I like what I'm seeing. The Varnu Battle Engineer, not even running the Gunslinger. I'm pretty sure it's banned in 6s anyway, but just gonna build a sentry up on that concrete side of Joey GUNZ here. Certainly a choice. We'll see how that affects the trout population. Unfortunately, it affects the Doey population as he has been removed from the server once more. With Zoe and Hans going down on the other side, I guess. But, you know, they're going to start finding some more frags. Alov and Yak go down. Tiram tries to go in as well, but obviously gets taken off. And now it's just Junu and Varnu trying their damnedest to just kind of hold these players off for a bit. I mean, there's a level 1 sentry. You're not going to do much, unfortunately, against the Demo Man. Doey's finally back in the fight, though, with his scout here as well. So maybe they can contest this point a little bit longer with the rest of the respawners coming in as well. This fight is all but over, even if the point has been capped. And the crit streak are in play as well. I mean, at this point, you might as well, even if the Uber comes across and you die. It's certainly something to have fun with. I guess we'll see how well that goes for them. Doey lives, so this crits could come into play.
Yeah, quite possibly could be. He needs to be careful as the skip jump comes through. He will be taken out here. They're just playing with so much confidence now. I think they just see this engineer and they're like, okay, well, we're in meme time here. We're just going to start playing even more aggressive than we were before here, as they're looking to basically go into spawn.
It's like a switch has been flipped in the Joey GUNZ team, and now everybody just decides, screw it, random BS go. Alov is now on the sniper, trying to see if he can maybe make a difference here. Find a crucial frag. I mean, Hans goes down. That opens things up a little bit for the side. Joey GUNZ takes some pressure off. Nice little headshot onto Fancy. Might just be the thing they need to have an opportunity to really get going here. They actually have to manage to get through the rest of these players as well. And that's 2 overhealed scouts you kind of have to slowly whittle down as they rotate over to the other side. And they almost have an Uber as well. If you're not careful, you might just get caught with your pants down, because Doey doesn't quite have yet. And he's also on the crits. So it's not like he would have anything to respond with at all. So that is something they really have to be careful of. But if they can get that crits off in time, and it doesn't look like MANDEM necessarily aware of it, it could be very dangerous. Actually, just going to use straight across. So if Joey lives, we're going to see a post-Uber crits instead. And I mean, I guess it's something, right? He's well out of harm's way. This is a strategy waiting to unfold before our very eyes, and it could be so beautiful if it actually works out. As the crits come out on the scout, and they find one soldier frag, and then another scout frag as well. Okay, hey, it's something. It's something.
Yeah, it's not the worst crits I've ever seen of all time here. They find 2 picks. There's no one else to follow up. We still had an engineer during that time. Vanu has finally switched back off here, but gonna be caught in that house. Pincer maneuvered. Not much you can really do on that side, and I feel like they've just kind of lost the plot a little bit here on the side of Joey GUNZ. They're not really playing to their full potential, but maybe they want to come back, make it a little bit difficult. Come back for the reverse sweep. You never know.
Perhaps. There's always a chance they can just lock back in, you know, give them a little bit of a false sense of security by just playing like absolute idiots, and then suddenly, oh, it turns out you can actually play. And they're certainly trying. They're putting down some cap time, but with 20 seconds left on the clock, they gotta start actually capping the point as well. Get it to tick down on their side. Start killing players. Yak is just in a world's hurt there as Boulder runs him down. Alaf desperately trying to make these snipes work. Unfortunately, not hitting the hero shots he needs to, and with 10 seconds left on the clock, no crits to speak of. An Uber on the other side that is just going to completely shut out any sort of pressure onto the point. It is going to be a 3-0 for MANDEM. They will just win this one outright. It looks like Joey GUNZ, whatever little momentum they have, whatever little fight they had in them on Gullywash, they have just ran out of stamina for on Bagel. But hey, they got a point off of MANDEM. That's better than nothing.
Yeah, they sure did. But Boulder had 5 dominations at the end of that game, and I think
okay.
That's maybe all you need to know about what was happening in that game. Yeah, I think they just kind of lost the plot on that 3rd round. Kind of got into that chaotic point where you can't really come back from. Didn't have any sort of answer for MANDEM's game plan, and yeah, we'll just be taking it into a 3-over.
That's how it goes sometimes. That's just how it be. There are some logs to look at. As you can see, Boulder died twice. This is what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, died less than his medic. This is a classic Boulder log.
500 damage DPM.
Yeah,
as one does. Yeah, look. Okay, so maybe part of the reason they struggle a bit on Gullywash was because their scouts, namely Boulder, even though he still performed well on it, couldn't do as much as they wanted to do. But allowing Boulder to have just complete free reign of the map and do whatever the hell he wants and basically never die, yeah, that kind of explains why MANDEM were looking as dominant as they were. They were struggling with dealing with the soldiers on Gullywash. They were not struggling at all with shutting down Tirm and Alaf on Bagel whatsoever. They were shutting them down real good.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say as well, Vanu, I just felt like did nothing on that map. He was losing some weird fights in the flank as well to Zoe, who just kept getting behind, kept getting fights started, kept getting a cheeky pick here, a cheeky pick there that he just really shouldn't have, getting forces. So yeah, a little unspotted on Zoe, but actually he did a lot to get a lot of those fights started. Then, I mean, Boulder just cleans up after then, right? His soldiers will bomb in and he'll just do... I was going to say 50 damage chip shots, but you don't do 50 damage chip shots and get 500 EPM, so more like 200 damage.
Evidently. Because that was a quick match as well. Like, we're talking, this was only 3 rounds, right? And how long exactly was the entire map? It was 14 minutes and 20 seconds. You can do the you know, the math yourself, but if he's doing 500 damage per minute, he's hitting a lot of meat very, very quickly.
Right, I think that might be enough Boulder glazing for us tonight. It was Joey GUNZ still taking a point out of our current top seed here, so not underperforming by any means. I think they were kind of expected to lose and had a really, really good match on Gullywash. If you are just joining us, go back and watch that because it was actually a really, really fantastic match. One of the better ones we've seen recently. But not too much from me, Sonny. Any parting words?
Nothing besides the usual. Stay tuned for more stuff. Another match on Sunday, as you can see on your screen. And the usual stuff. Donate to Poland.tf. Much rather donate.poland.tf. Get us a stage set up. Help out the LAN production. Make your local scene great. It's going to be the biggest TF2 tournament probably ever, but at least on European soil in quite a while. And we should make it the best one we can. So if you want to help out, if you have the opportunity to help out, you should. So it's a good idea. That's all I gotta say.